Hey y'all, Jessie Petersen here with Let's Make Art. I'm a mixed media artist and I love art journaling and I love teaching about art journaling. Today, I got a little something different for you because it's the Lagniappe and we got Keenan here, our art cheerleader, camera guy.
Hello.
So Lagniappe is a little something extra. That word is from South Louisiana where I'm from and my family's from, and I just thought it was a fun way to name this series of you don't know what you're gonna get, but it's gonna be awesome sort of thing, right?
I like that.
So it's an opportunity for us to react to the community as they're making stuff in the theme, and this theme that we've been working in is Roots and Relics, and we've had so much fun making art with old photos and embellishing them and storytelling and reaching back in our family history and kind of finding a way to incorporate that in our art, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has.
So I thought what might be neat to add to this theme would be some tea-stained paper. Kind of get some aged paper, sort of collage paper or whatnot to use in your journal in this theme.
Sweet.
So we're just gonna go for it. I wanted to bring some examples. So I'm a nerd and I like old aged paper things.
Yes.
And I scan them in, and I've made some of our collage paper with some of these fun finds. I actually have a friend here locally who gave me a box of stuff that I've been using and going through just from here in Missouri. I mean, isn't this beautiful?
Yes, it is.
I mean, this envelope has been through some stuff, right?
It's seen some things.
So now that's the real deal. Now these papers are papers that I dyed with tea.
What?
Right? Crazy. So, I mean, the color is similar. We're getting the same vibe, you know, this kind of thing. So I'm going to show you what I did, and we're going to go for it.
Awesome.
So I have a large butcher tray right here. This is a big guy. We normally use this size. You can totally use this size if you have it, and you can just take your paper and rip it in half. Because our art journal is small, so you can do paper in that like that. Or you can use the big guy. I'm gonna try out the big guy, we might flip around. This is just regular old copy paper. So what you need for this to do this with us, supplies-wise, is regular old copy paper that's in your printer, some tea and some hot water, and something to dry with. I'm gonna use this dryer right here.
Is there a type of tea that works best? Peppermint?
Well,
Chamomile?
I am gonna use this Jade Citrus Mint, and I'm gonna throw 3 of these guys in here.
Oh.
But I also have a couple different other ones that I thought maybe we could talk about, like what would if it looked different. So here's our tea kettle. It's a kettle.
Tea kettle.
I'm gonna pour this right in there. I'm gonna hold on to the strings, and I'm just gonna let this steep while we're talking. It's just nice hot water.
That looks warm.
I just feel calm just smelling this tea. It's so lovely. I'm not using a lot of water because I really want the concentrated tea or our tea dyeing, whatever. And what's interesting, oh man, it smells good. It smells like
we should make tea
Jade
every
Citrus
time we
Mint.
do a video.
We should, because I love drinking herbal tea when I do my art. Oh, it smells so good. And it's a little cold today and misty, and it feels nice and warm. So your studio where you're working can smell great while you're doing this. So we're just gonna let this steep for a minute. And I'm going to tell you about this, what we're going to use here. This is a Ranger heated craft tool, and I have been trying out different heat guns lately, and I tried one that kind of had this little stand, and it sat down in a funny way, so you know you didn't bump it when it was hot. I've tried the ones from like the big Mamma Jamma ones from like Harbor Freight tool.
Oh yes.
Like a big one, and they have a lot more settings, and they get really hot, and they have a cool down setting, and they work great, and they're reasonably priced. All of these are, but that big guy took a lot of room real estate wise on my desk, and so I was looking for something else, and it was really loud too, like loud, and so I kept testing things, and I love this guy because I can keep it kind of on my desk out of the way, and when I need it I can just grab it, and it's not so loud and powerful that it's blowing all of my cool paper bits everywhere, which I kind of like. It's just like, this is gonna dry this thing and I'm gonna be done with it, and I put it down. And it's small, and so I could take it with me if I'm in an art journal at my friend's house and grab a couple of things. I don't feel like I'm bringing this heavy industrial tool with me.
Travel size.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you don't have to have a heat gun. You can use a blow dryer or whatever you got around. But this guy is just so perfect for what we're trying to do. And I just wanted to let you know that we have that in stock now if that's something you are in the market you're looking for.
Nice. That's exciting.
On the website.
Woo,
Let's
woo.
make art. Okay, so this is looking like it's getting darker. Okay, so this tea looks kind of green at a first glance. But what I found that was interesting is that my paper turned out more orangey pinkish.
Interesting.
So I don't know. Oh, let's talk about what's in this tea. Okay. This one has spearmint and lemongrass, and it's a green tea blend is what it says. Premium lush green tea blended with hints of spearmint, lemon, verbena, and lemongrass. It's just the right balance of cool, calm, and bright invigoration. Man, they know how to write copy on that tea. Doesn't that you want to make
That's
it?
beautiful.
I think different kinds of tea would be fun to experiment with. I know some people have done this with coffee too.
I was just going to ask. That'd be really interesting to see too.
Yeah, so if you want to try out different things, that's totally, it would be fun to find out, like, I use this tea for this and it turned it more of that
Yes.
color. Like, that's what's fun about this community is we get to share what we learn. All right, I think this is probably, the longer you steep this, the darker your color is gonna be, but should we just go for it?
Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna pour a little bit of this in here like that. Maybe I'll save the rest of this to just keep going while we're doing the first one. And then I just put my paper in there and it was like, whoa, what's that weird texture when I did it? That's interesting. Something about how the paper is made kind of popped up.
That's amazing.
So we'll just let that.
Did you just let it air dry or did you speed dry it?
Oh, I speed dried it.
Nice.
You know me.
Okay, okay.
So
That looks cool.
yeah, and it takes some time to let it soak. So like if you don't want to sit here and watch it, you can let it soak and go do another project or have a snack or drink your own tea that you made for yourself. I put 3 tea bags in that to get it to be a little darker. I don't know if that's necessarily super important by any means, but then you can kind of move this back and forth if you want. That's kind of fun to do. I don't know that's going to change your paper by any means, but I just like doing it.
It looks fun to watch. The paper kind of moves.
Yeah. I'm gonna just put another
I
one.
bet a drying rack would be really useful.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a cookie drying rack.
I'm gonna
Maybe
put
if
that
you
right
have a
there.
cookie drying rack, you just make some cookies real quick. Let those cool off.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Those, like, I have a baking rack for cooling things.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do another one in this tray. I just realized I put the half-torn ones in the big tray,
That's okay.
but I can do a big size in there
You have
too.
a full piece of paper in that big tray.
No, well I do, but it's torn.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever. We'll let this guy do its thing for a minute. Now, one of them, I must have had paint on me or on something. It's okay. We'll add some dimension. Okay, we're gonna let that sit over there. I'm gonna talk about some of these other papers that I have while we're waiting for that to do its thing. We'll see. I left it in there for quite a while, so we can let it sit and come back, or we can talk about this or both or whatever. Okay, so some of these I actually just took the tea bag itself and just put it on there thinking something magic would happen. It didn't like do what I thought, which was like leave a remnant or whatever, but we're gonna try it. Look at that. Look at all those yummy herbs and things that you can see in that. So cool. So anyway, I thought maybe it would do something. It didn't really, but
Maybe it will.
maybe
this
a
time.
little bit. See how slight that little spot is? So that's kind of cool. This one I left in overnight and it dried
Wow.
and stuck to the pan and it ripped a little bit when I pulled it out. But it was really dark comparatively because I
Yeah.
just let it
What's that
soak
super
up.
dark part from? Is that?
This is just where it like
it
really
set?
soaked it up. It almost got like
Oh.
translucent.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And what I found is more water doesn't equate anything. Actually, the less water, like it did better. So the way that the butcher tray is, it kind of is domed like this. And it was actually darker in the areas where it was just barely sitting in it versus like soaking in it. That's just what I noticed. I don't know if that's just a fluke or what. And this one, we got some variation there, which was nice. Can you see that slight variation?
So when you do
drips.
this, are you trying to get variation, or are you trying to get, because you're trying to get like the coolest looking paper, right?
I just wanted it to look old and not like this. So anything that's not that was a win for me. Like, I was like, this is cool. Yeah, some of these I left in longer. This is actually cardstock. So it was like a little bit heavier paper.
Oh,
I tried that.
Did that take longer?
No, I think it was about the same. This one, oh, I should have brought it down here. I had a tray that's like a ceramic bacon rack that you put in the microwave. And so it has divots that go up and down like that. I was totally gonna bring it down here, I forgot. Cool. And I let the paper dry on top of that.
That's cool.
And so the ridges kind of affected how it did that. So you could try different drying methods.
That's cool.
This is cardstock again. I noticed that the cardstock just seemed a little bit greener than the other paper, and I don't know if that's just the nature of the different types of paper. This is another one I let sit in overnight.
I love those like
Not
burnt
cool.
edges.
So we won't get that while we're doing this and this.
Wow. It looks burnt.
I know, right? And that's something you can do too. Like some people like to burn the edges of their paper or whatever. So this one was just like regular. Oh, I got this one wet. And then this one, yeah, a couple of little drops back on it afterwards. So cool.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna take one out and see if just like a little bit of time does anything, or if you need more time, so you can kind of gauge like what you're getting here.
Cool.
And then we'll put in another piece of paper, like a full sheet. So it's really like flimsy when you take it out. Maybe this guy. You can let it drip in your pan for a second. And that's one of those ones that has drips on it. I just let one drip on top of another, and those drips kind of happen. Turn this guy that way.
Do you want to put the one you're taking out on something that might soak up the water?
Oh, maybe.
See what it does.
I was just letting it drip on this, but I could do that too. Okay, so I'm letting these two guys overlap because one of the ones I had over there kind of had a cool overlap thing. I'm not gonna stick that right there. So I don't know how long this has been. How long do you think this has been?
I'm gonna guess 10 minutes.
See, so it's already kind of a different color. We'll see. Let's try it. Let's see if we can get. Just kind of squeezing some on there. And this is really wet paper, so you could dry blotting it a little bit if you want with like a paper towel. But I don't know if that takes the tea out of it or not. I don't know. I didn't do that last time, so. This is like a good thing to do on a rainy day when you're cold.
Yes.
Make some hot tea and get warm with this little heat gun.
I wonder what hot cocoa would do to it.
I don't know. I don't know that having sugar in it is necessarily like helpful for the paper. It might break it down more.
It makes me feel better.
But maybe just chocolate without sugar could be an interesting one to try.
Maybe dark chocolate with less sugar.
I think this is just going to be slightly different
That's okay.
because it's only in there for a little bit.
It's a good experiment. We have 4 different layers. This one's just a young letter. What if you wrote on it before? Would it rinse off / take off all the words?
It would depend on the pen you use. So if you use a water soluble one, it would probably move around. If you used ink, then it probably wouldn't.
Because that could be really fun. Oh. It's getting close.
It is. Let's just see next to a white piece of paper how much. Let's dry this off real fast. White tea.
Look
Just
at
for
that.
like a little bit of time, it's a little greener. So the longer that you leave it in, the darker it's going to get for sure. But we still got something after just a few minutes in there.
Wow.
And you could take this guy, now that we got it, and put it back in.
Oh.
Do it a couple times. So, just gonna put that one back in there. A few more
Have you
minutes.
done a double dipper before?
No.
Cool. This is fun.
I just like threw it in there and walked away because
And let it do its thing.
I was like, well, if I do a tutorial, this might take a while, but I want to show them like putting the tea in and everything, right?
Playing with it.
So we could pause and then show you what this looks like in a little while and dry it.
Okay.
Should we do that?
Sure.
Okay. We'll let this soak and come back and show you what it looks like. All right, we're back. This has been soaking for a little while. I don't know, a couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how long.
Days.
Well, not days.
Okay. Well.
But days would give you something like this, like, or overnight.
Overnighting,
We're
yeah,
not.
for
We're probably
sure.
not there yet. Okay, let's get this. Some of this started drying, and it's kind of coming apart on me. That's all right. I'm just gonna put it right on top of this. We'll start drying it. Oh, it stuck to my paper under there.
Look at that color difference.
Yeah. Maybe. Let's do that. There we go. We'll use our mat. It's better.
That one's getting roughed up.
That's okay. It's going to give it character, okay?
All right.
Yeah, a drying rack probably would be cool, like one of those cookie racks, like
Yeah.
you're saying.
It might give it the ridges though, like your other cooking rack.
Like ruffles.
Yeah, ruffles, like chips.
The ruffles have ridges.
Yep.
You're supposed to be the funny one, not me. It doesn't come across.
I didn't know what you said.
I was giving you that one.
I'm
Like,
so sorry.
I just make art. I don't know how to be funny. So interesting when you dry it again and that pattern of whatever makes the paper comes back. Not cool.
Yes, it is.
The other thing I like about this dryer, can you hear me when I'm using this?
Yep.
Is that it doesn't get so hot that like things start smoking. My other one that was like the industrial strength would get really hot, and sometimes my paper would get so hot it would start smoking. It's just a little scary, but this doesn't get that hot, so I feel like it's safer.
Smoking paper gives it texture.
I mean, that's cool. It's cool,
Yeah, it's
but
cool. It's cool.
and I use this to speed things up. Like, I don't use it on my acrylic paint a ton because acrylic paint is kind of plasticky, and I feel like you're just heating up plastic at that point. But, you know, if it's almost dry and I just want to get to the next layer, I'll use this to dry it out more. But by no means is my hand behind this paper getting so hot that I can't hold on to it, which is a good temperature for what we're doing. So we don't want to, like, get crazy with it. But it's cool because you can tell this part is more dry, this part is less dry, because you can still see that texture in the paper, that pattern or whatever. Like we saw when it was wet.
Oh, yes.
bonus on making this paper is that your journal will smell like whatever your tea smells like. So this one smells like spearmint, which is kind of awesome. I have a lavender citrus that I really like.
That's what I'm saying. If you could figure out how cocoa works, because that would smell phenomenal. Chocolate paper.
Yeah. You know, like back in the day when they did letters writing, you know, a girl would put a little bit of her perfume on the paper, so the soldier, when he got the letter, would smell like perfume. You could send chocolate letters to people that you love, Keaton.
What did the soldier say? I would totally do that. That is such a good idea.
The old chocolate
Maybe
letter.
some peanut butter. I may misunderstand. You just take peanut butter and you put it
No.
across the paper and then write it in the peanut butter, right?
No.
I'm gonna send someone a letter. I'll send my brother a letter like that.
You already send your family interesting mail for jokes. It's funny times. Okay, well that's looking pretty cool. And let's compare it to our white paper that has a drip of. Look at that!
Dang. Look at
So that little
paper.
bubble that was on there before kind of did a thing.
Custom
All right.
aged.
Let's get this guy was in there longest, I think. Just gonna keep drying.
All right. Nice.
We'll do this one and that one, and we'll call it. I did this a long time ago, and I kind of forgot about it. And then when I was thinking about this project, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And I don't know, I got excited. So even if you've done this before, try it again. You might get excited about new things in your journal. And you can take these and put them back in and double dip like he was saying. That could be a fun way to get more dark values in it.
It would be cool to do a whole journal with this kind of paper.
Yeah, you just bind the whole journal with that kind of paper.
Yeah, with like a thread and needle. And a sewing machine.
Possibly.
Oh, I was kidding.
Well, I mean, like our journal has a stitched middle. The one that we use for
Really?
our everyday journaling from Carpe Diem.
That sounds awesome. So it's possible.
Sure.
Anything's possible. If you put your mind to.
Yes. Or you could just
something
rip
else
it and
motivational.
add it into different spots that you want some layering. Or you could fake an old letter.
Yep. Hidden beneath the maple
Put that in
tree
your
in the back 40.
journal. If you have some correspondence that you think would be fun to put in a family history journal, you could make that onto this paper and do it. It could be fun.
That would be super fun.
Okay, well that's looking pretty cool.
This would be a fun idea to do for your kids. My girls would like to draw treasure maps.
Oh my gosh, yes, my kids love to do it. So look, remember we had that bubble where it kind of was like this? It left more tea in that one spot because the paper dried. I feel like if it's soaking wet and doesn't have any spot to air dry, then the tea kind of disperses. But if it's got a spot where it's starting to dry and bubble up, then you kind of get more pigment there. Does that make sense?
Yep. Is that when you noticed that when you have less water, it does better things?
Yeah.
Is that one thing you noticed with that?
Yeah. Okay, back to the treasure maps.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, treasure maps would be great. You could get yourself a little legend on the side. And you could do a compass, drawing a compass, which way's north.
And this technique could actually work for the next 2 journal month themes that we have coming up. Should I sneak them?
I mean,
April is going to be wabi sabi, so that's all about impermanence and weathering.
yes.
So this could be fun in that journal. And then May is going to be journeys.
well, that's perfect.
So
You could make your own map,
treasure map.
life map. You draw your house, a squiggly line to your favorite grocery store or Wendy's.
I'm going to move this paper out of the way, but this paper might end up looking cool too. Who knows? Okay, so I can tell we're halfway there because we're starting to get those patterns in the paper. I really want to experiment with these other flavors of tea and see if I get a different result. So I'm going to probably do that next.
Yeah, you should. I'm really curious to know, does the paper smell good?
Mm-hmm.
It does? Oh, that's lovely.
That's what I was saying. It's like the perfume letters, but...
Well, then imagine if you had an entire journal made of your favorite tea that you drink before you go to bed.
Or when I make art, I'll just get excited to make art because I can smell the tea. It's like one of those
It could be
psychology things.
Yeah, it could be a combo. Subliminal message of sleep and peace.
Yeah, this is the one that I drink before I go to sleep. It's called Peach Tranquility, and it has chamomile and notes of citrus, which I love. Also, I want to know what your favorite teas are. Is there other teas out there I need to try?
I like peppermint.
I drink herbal tea. I don't drink the other kinds of teas, but tell me your favorite herbals.
Yeah,
and I'll try those.
Also, if you've done this before, maybe some tips.
Yeah, if you got a
other ways
different
to
way
do
of
it.
doing it. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I kind of love this little rip we got there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, a couple hours, it's still subtle. Overnight, you're going to get darker values, so it's just really what you're after. Okay, well, I think I ruined all my white paper. Not ruined, made it better, but I just want a comparison here. So there's our white paper. That's with a little bit of time. Pretty cool. And that was just like a little bit of time, like just when we started the tutorial. So you're going to get a shift just in a little bit of a time, a little more time, you'll get different things happening. And then, yeah, overnight, you'll get it darker. And weird stuff might happen. I don't even know how that happened. And this was like more like half a day, I think, worth what I did with these.
Those are cool. That ended up being more red.
Yeah. So it seems like when you first do it, it kind of is greenish, like what you imagine, because the tea has kind of got a greenish. But after a while, then it gets a little more pink or orange. So really simple, kind of a fun thing to do. And like Keenan said, you can have your family join in. It's kind of a fun activity to make some tea stain paper to get that aged paper look. Let's bring our aged paper back.
Yes.
So it kind of feels similar. I mean, this one really feels, it's similar in coloring. And this one looks more like the ones that sat there longer. This is a different type of paper too, so, but.
And that envelope is cool though.
What's that?
The envelope is super cool.
Yeah, it's from 1916.
That's older than me.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. Let's see what this one was from. February 12th, 1915?
Wow.
Maybe? I might be reading that wrong. I don't know. Anyway, cool stuff. Thanks so much for joining us for the Let's Make Art Lagniappe Art Journal edition.
Yes.
This is a good time. I can't wait to hear more about what you did. So if you make some paper and you incorporate it in your journal, share it with us on our Facebook group, Let's Make Art Journals, or hashtag us on Instagram if you hang out there. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.